I told y'all what I seen and what happened to me at Diddy house, and y'all finally finna see what the really been going on. His lawyer that he's done paid millions of dollars to fight his case has withdrawn from fighting the case. You wanna know why he's withdrawing from fighting the case?
What if I told you Diddy's courtroom drama just hit a level no one saw coming? Imagine this. A top-tier attorney with decades of experience and a reputation for defending the most high-profile clients in America suddenly stands up in a packed courtroom and quits. Not quietly, not behind closed doors. He quits right there, live, as explosive audio plays, shaking the courtroom to its core.
On Friday, a surprising announcement came down. One of his defense attorneys suddenly quits the case. I'm Elizabeth Milner with Law and Crime. Now, this particular defense attorney's reason for quitting wasn't really a reason at all, making his departure a lot more puzzling.
Shortly after Diddy's arrest, his defense team grew when he stacked on 2 more defense attorneys to join Mark Agnifilo and Tinny Garagos.
That's exactly what happened. Diddy's legal team was supposed to be unbreakable. Stacked with veteran attorneys, this dream team was built to help him dodge a lifetime behind bars. But on that day, something inside that courtroom shifted. An audio leak so damning, so raw, so unspinnable. One of Diddy's most trusted defenders, Anthony Ricco, walked away. Not because he didn't believe in Diddy's innocence, but because whatever was in that audio made staying on the case impossible. The moment the tape started rolling, the courtroom went dead silent. No typing from reporters, no whispering from observers. Even Diddy, the king of cool under pressure, sat frozen. The audio was grainy but clear. A woman's voice, frantic, scared, could be heard begging someone to stop. A male voice, allegedly Diddy's, responded coldly. What followed were sounds no one expected to hear in a courtroom. Not rumors, not gossip, just raw, horrifying sound.
Sean Diddy Combs' legal team is getting a little smaller as the rap mogul's defense team prepares for his May trial on trafficking charges. His attorney, Anthony Ricco, respectfully but regrettably requested to be dismissed from his role, according to documents obtained by NBC News. Ricco, who is one of 6 attorneys on the case, requested in the February 21st filing to withdraw as representation because, quote, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs, consistent with the ABA standards for criminal justice. The motion continues, quote, while I'm aware that the local rule requires that an application for withdrawal of counsel is supported and granted only upon a showing by affidavit.
The judge ordered the courtroom to maintain composure. But the damage was done. You could feel the energy shift. Some jurors looked away. Others stared in disbelief. And Anthony Ricco? He stood up, whispered something to Diddy, then to the judge, and just like that, he was gone.
Ricco did not give an explanation, but said it would not affect Combs' May 5th federal trial date. Ricco, who was retained by Combs in September, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Combs has 5 other attorneys on his team, end quote. Let me say this. Anytime an attorney backs out, that's not a good look. Now, there could be a variety of reasons as to why this happened, and we all get that. I understand that. But anytime an attorney backs out, particularly of a high-profile case like this, is not a good look, and I'm going to tell y'all why. Because if you are an attorney, the more acclaim your client has, the more popularity your client has, the more recognition and notoriety your client has, the more you benefit from a positive outcome in favor of that client. So that client...
Cameras outside the courthouse caught him leaving minutes later, refusing to speak to reporters. But this wasn't just about quitting. Ricco had filed a motion to withdraw from the case days earlier, and most thought it was about strategy or personality clashes. Turns out, that was just the cover story. Because insiders now say that audio, recorded years ago, was the real reason. It hadn't been played publicly until that day, and once it was, Ricco reportedly said privately, I can't be a part of this.
Stop scrolling for the latest Diddy update that people can't stop talking about. So y'all, now just 3 months before Diddy's trial is set to start, one of his attorneys, this man Anthony Ricco, has entered a bid to withdraw from being Diddy's counsel. In his filing, he said, although he feels he has provided Diddy with the highest level of representation, under no circumstances can he continue to serve as counsel for Sean Combs. Now, while Mr. Ricco says there are sufficient reasons as to why he's withdrawing and why he feels this way, those reasons are protected by attorney-client privilege, so he he can't go into details. But again, the fact he no longer wants to represent Diddy and this is just 3 months before everything's about to start, yeah, it's definitely a big deal. Now, I will say there shouldn't be any reason to push the trial back, as Diddy's lead attorney, Mark Agnifilio, is staying on as his lead counsel, so there won't be any lapse in representation. But Mr. Rico, on the other hand, wants out.
This move was unprecedented. Lawyers don't just walk out mid-trial unless something massive changes. Rico wasn't a rookie either. He's handled death penalty cases, terrorism trials, and defended the most notorious defendants you can imagine. Yet here he was, leaving the defense table during one of the biggest trials of the decade. Why? That audio was simply too much. Sources say Rico believed it created an ethical conflict, that continuing to represent Diddy after hearing it would compromise his integrity. That's how bad it was. And here's the wild part. Rico wasn't the only one. Remember, this is the second lawyer to bail on Diddy since his arrest. Another high-profile attorney stepped away even before the trial began. So the question is, what do they know that we don't? What are they hearing, seeing, reading in those sealed files that the public hasn't gotten access to yet?
Do you know how bad this is? That lawyer used to represent Bin Laden. After September the 11th, the American government took the Bin Ladens, to court, and he was one of their lawyers. And people said, how could you represent such people? And he said, the judge, the jury, they say if people are guilty. That's not my job. My job is to make sure there's a due process, to make sure their rights are observed, to make sure there's no funny business. He works with Diddy for a while, and afterwards he says, nah, mate, I'm out. I'm gone. They said, no, it's not your job to say if he's guilty or not. He said, under no circumstances, after I've got to hang out with the man, I got to say, under no circumstances can I work with this man. They said, we'll give you lots of money, you'll be famous. He said, it's not worth it. Bin Laden, I will represent, but Diddy, no way. Diddy is officially cooked. Yes or no?
The prosecution has been building this case for over a year. Wiretaps, surveillance, testimonies, and now audio. The narrative they're painting isn't just about Diddy the celebrity. It's about Diddy the alleged mastermind of a dark, hidden empire. Parties filled with non-disclosure agreements, intimidation, and now evidence suggesting things far worse. Diddy's team has always argued that everything was consensual, that the people involved knew what they were signing up for. But this audio undercuts that claim in the worst possible way. It doesn't show luxury or glamour. It shows fear. It shows power being abused. It shows something that not even the best defense strategy can clean up. As for Rico, legal experts say his departure will have a major impact. Not just because of the optics, it tells the jury something's wrong. When your own lawyer walks away mid-trial, it sends a signal. This isn't a normal defense case. This isn't business as usual. This is something darker. Meanwhile, Diddy sat in court as the audio finished playing. His face was unreadable. No tears, no outburst. Just a man who realized, perhaps for the first time, that this wasn't going away. That no matter how much money you throw at a legal team, some things can't be fixed. Especially not when the evidence speaks louder than anyone in the room. Outside the courtroom, the media went wild. Social platforms exploded with clips and theories. The Diddy exposed and lawyer walkout were trending. Commentators called it the biggest courtroom moment since the Depp Heard trial. But this isn't entertainment. This is a man's freedom hanging in the balance. And with every passing day, more and more of his empire is falling apart.
One of P. Diddy's defense counsels filed a motion on Friday stating that he wants to withdraw from P. Diddy's case. He put in his motion to withdraw to the judge that in no circumstance can he continue. And a lot of people, I've seen videos on it, have talked about that. Oh my gosh, this defense attorney must be so disgusted with the evidence that the man, his name's Anthony Rico, who represented Osama bin Laden, this must be so much worse that he would want to withdraw from the case. Well, these are my thoughts on it as an attorney. First of all, P. Diddy has a team of 6 different attorneys, and they are from a few different firms. This guy, Anthony Rico, was from a different firm. My thought is that he's not the lead attorney. He just didn't like the strategy of the lead guy, and he didn't like being number 2. He didn't like being told what to do, and he didn't like their strategy, or he wasn't even really getting a lot of work, so he wasn't even able to bill a lot on the case because he wasn't the guy that was being telling people what to do. And this case is getting so much bad press. I mean, these defense attorneys are going to have to be very strategic with PR to make sure that this case does not tank their career. And that attorney could just say, it's not worth it. I'm not the lead attorney. I'm not going to get all the glory. I'm not going to be able to determine what's going forward. So I want to withdraw. We still have to hear that the judge is going to let him withdraw, which I'm pretty sure the judge will, because there's 5 other attorneys that are taking this case and going to get it to trial.
Endorsement deals? Gone. Former collaborators? Silent. Old friends? Distancing themselves? Even his music streams, which saw a short-lived boost after his arrest, are now dropping. Fans are torn. Some can't believe it. Others say they saw the signs years ago. The trial continues, but now every lawyer who steps into that courtroom does so under a shadow. Because if someone like Rico, who's been through the worst of the worst, decides this case is too dirty to touch, what does that really say? And here's the final kicker. There are whispers that more audio exists. If true, this case isn't just a legal battle, it's a countdown, a slow, painful unmasking of a man who once called himself love. So, what do you think?
Lawyers can't just quit a case when it's on the trial calendar. A judge has to approve it, and they almost never do. So why did a federal judge let Diddy's lawyer walk away? When a case is this far along, there's basically only 3 ways out. 1, the client is forcing the lawyer to do something fraudulent and criminal. 2, there's a total collapse of communication. And 3, a serious ethical violation has arisen, or there's some fundamental disagreement between the two. The lawyer must certify to the facts that constitute good cause to withdraw and that it would not adversely affect his client. And I don't see that here. So why is this judge not following the law? They must have seen something so egregious that they're just letting this lawyer out of the case without him explaining why. And I've never seen that in 20 years of practice in law. So what's really going on here? What's the legal defense that makes this lawyer, who's defended terrorists, so offended?
Did Diddy's lawyer walk out because of ethics, or because he knows this case is unwinnable? And if even your top defenders won't stand by your side, what hope is left? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. Because if you think this is the climax of Diddy's courtroom downfall, trust me, the most explosive moments are still ahead.